In this video, we're going to look at the factor theorem. And the factor theorem states that a polynomial f of x has a factor x minus a if and only if f of a is equal to 0. So here we're looking at the roots. And here we're looking at the factor. And we do need to know the difference between the two. For instance, x squared minus 7x plus 10 equals 0. X minus 5 by x minus 2 equals 0. I have my factors. And my solutions are x equals to 5 or 2, the point at which they cross the x-axis. 2 and 5, just a little sketch, are my roots. So the factor theorem brings in roots and also obviously brings in factors. So let's have a look at a question in relation to this. So what I want you to do now is pause the video, and to solve this cubic equation with no other information, we need to try and find out what number for x will solve this equation. So try x equals 1, 2 and 3, and then minus 1, minus 2 and minus 3. Now you may be able to see which ones don't work really quickly. So hopefully you've gone through the first 5 and got really frustrated. None of these work. So minus 3 is the one that does work. 2 by minus 3 cubed, minus 3 by minus 3 squared, minus 17 by minus 3, plus 30 equals 0. 2 by minus 27, minus 3 by plus 9, plus 51, plus 30. You can see 81 minus 81 is equal to 0. So x equals minus 3. So this is this part here. F of minus 3 is equal to 0. So therefore, we have to, what do we have to do with the sign? For my root, we bring the minus 3 across and it becomes a plus 3. So this is the maths behind the theory of this x minus a as a factor if f of a is equal to 0. So what we need to do to solve the equation, back to one of the other algebra videos, box method, which was leaving cert algebra 5. We put the first term of my cubic here, my last term here, my factor on the outside. The mistake that most people make is they put an x minus 3 on the outside here, and then they're not dividing in properly. So x into 2x cubed, 2x squared, 2x squared by plus 3 is plus 6x squared. We jump up to see how many x squareds we want. We want minus 3, so I need another minus 9x squared. X into minus 9x squared is minus 9x. Minus 9x by plus 3, minus 27x. We jump up, how many x's do we want? Minus 17, so I need plus 10x. And x into plus 10x is plus 10, and then we check our answer is plus 10 by plus 3, plus 30, and you can see that it is. So now to solve the equation, we need to factorize. If it factorizes, 2x squared minus 9x plus 10 equals 0. It has to be 2x times x. And you can see actually here 5 by 2. Does 5 by 2 work? No. Yeah, 2 by 5. 5 by 2 does work. 5 and a 2. Minus 5x, minus 4x is minus 9x. So you can see here my solutions are x is equal to 5 over 2 plus 2. And what do we have from above? X was equal to minus 3. So if you convert them into factors, we have our 2x minus 5. If we multiply that by x minus 2 and multiply our answer by what we had was x plus 3, we're going to get the cubic that we started with. So this is the beginning of the factor theorem. Okay, so pause the video and try this question. And here's the solution. Now, if you weren't given this part of it and you were just asked to solve, the roots have to be factors of 6. So these are your only options here in this question. So let's see what we get when we divide in x minus 1. And you're told it's a factor. Now the root is x is equal to 1. So x minus 1. X squared minus x squared we want minus 2x squared, so another minus x squared, minus x, and then plus x down here. Be careful with the signs. We want minus 5x, so minus 6x minus 6. And is minus 6 by minus 1 plus 6 it is, so we know we're right. Factorize x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. We get x minus 3 by x plus 2. So my solutions, or my roots, are x equals 3 and x equals minus 2. And you can see here that we have a 3, 2, and a 1 with differing signs as our factors. So go on and we'll do one more of these questions, just phrased slightly differently. You're asked to solve x squared minus 6x, x cubed minus 6x squared plus 11x minus 6. And you can see that we're not given a root or a factor or any other information. So the first one to try is always 1. And you can see here, if we look at the positive numbers, we have 1 and 11 is 12. And we have a minus 6 and a minus 6, which is minus 12. So 1 does work. X equals to 1 is definitely a root. So my factor is x minus 1 equals to 0. So setting up your box, x minus 1, first term, last term, and now let's divide in. X into x cubed is x squared, minus 1 by x squared is minus x squared. Jump up to see how many x squareds we want. We want minus 6, so I need another minus 5 of them. X into minus 5x squared is minus 5x. Minus 5x by minus 1 is plus 5x. Jumping up to see how many x's we want 11 of them, so I need another plus 6x. X into 6x is plus 6. Is plus 6 by minus 1, minus 6 it is. So we just need to factorize x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 0, which is x minus 3 by x minus 2. So x is equal to 3. Or 2, and we also got a 1, 3, 2, 1. And you can see they're all factors of the number 6. So practice more of these questions from your book, and then we'll move on to manipulation of formula.